Hello, this is Darkon, and this is a guide to preparing for MMO expansion releases. This guide is primarily used for Final Fantasy XIV Heaven's Ward expansion, but it can be applied to any MMO expansion or any initial MMO launch. This video will be short as I'm only going over the details needed and not every little fragment. First off, when an expansion to an MMO you like is coming out, first take note of the date it is being released. Figure out what you're likely going to be doing that day. If it's chores or anything else, try to get it done beforehand. If you're going to be out of town, sorry, I can't help you with that. In general, any business that you have that day but can be done sooner, please do so, as that means less time doing other things when you really want to be trying out all those new classes, dungeons, and so on. Are you working that day? Well, in this case, it's up to you. Remember, work comes first, cause that pays for everything else and you should never prioritize a game over it. Yes, even if your work sucks and the people you work with are jerks, you still need that money to pay for the game. However, if you got some days off close to that time, or you have to take a vacation soon but can't really afford to go anywhere, well, go ahead if you choose to take that time off. Just remember to give your employer the required amount of time to get the schedule set up. This not only makes it easier on you and everyone else, but it kind of stops things from going overboard if they suddenly don't have enough people and they want to call you in, or if they end up deciding to cancel your vacation. Now that you know when you're going to play, don't forget two very important things: sleep and food. Sleep is simple enough. If you really want to try to play the game the moment it comes out, I'll explain why I said that later, take a nap beforehand. This is harder to generalize than other things because it very much depends on when the game releases. Is it a worldwide release all at the same time? Then it could release when it's noon for you or just around 5 a.m. But if it is a generalized midnight release for everyone, basically when 12 midnight hits where you are, then there's not much you can do. The last one, however, won't usually happen with MMOs due to people having a head start or world first people and such, so it's usually the former. Of course, you might be wondering about early access, and really that depends on the developer and how they handle it. Sometimes it is only a day or two, but sometimes some things in the game will be closed off until the game is fully released to prevent people from getting too far ahead, but again, you'll have to see how or if at all they're handling early access. Next is food. Make sure you do your shopping beforehand, but also don't rely on junk food in general. While it can be okay every so often, you will lose more time overall due to things like sugar crashes. And I've never found a game more fun when you're tired. Take a look online for what people usually recommend to eat. For me, it's usually grains like oatmeal and orange juice, with whatever kind of protein you feel like. Yes, there are other things, but that's just a general idea, so no need to take anything overboard. Don't forget to take a break as well. Get up, walk around, and do something else. Yeah, it sounds stupid and you've heard it 100 times over, usually from in-game notices, but your body does need to stretch and this will become more relative soon. Now finally, one of the most important things to remember, depending on your game, if it's a big MMO, or a first starting MMO, or a much anticipated expansion, there's always something to remember. That being crashes. Yes, there is no way to avoid them. Even the game developer itself can only prepare so much. Of course, there are many crashes from internet connections to servers going down to just plain odd ones. I know some people will scream and yell how it is unacceptable and the company should have prepared more. Well, guess what? It's not that simple. Two factors come into this. One is the servers themselves. So long as the servers are up and running well, crashes won't be an issue as much, but even those can be overloaded by this next one. The second thing is the connections. While where the servers are located and relative to you is important, so are the connections from your computer to the server. Take two circles and put them apart. One is your computer, the other is the server. Now there is a line between them, which is the connection for data exchange. After that, think about a few thousand more computers with lines connecting to the same server. Some are going to cross over. After all, unless you have a separate direct line to the server, you're going to have to share. This is where most issues come in. If a few 100,000 people try to log in at roughly the same time, even if they are on a different server, if the servers are housed in the same spot, there are gonna be issues with overloads and such. It's just something that's gonna happen no matter what, and there's only so much a company can do while making it cost effective. Remember, they are a business and they need to make a profit, so try to keep that in mind. There is also a more than likely chance of people trying on purpose to bring the servers down, just simply because they want to see the world burn, or they think they are being funny. Just don't expect it to be perfect, and you will be fine. And finally, there will likely be queue time, so if you have to wait a long time, don't just stare into the computer, go do something else. Occupy your time and check back every once in a while. Like the old saying goes, a watch pot never boils, and it makes things a lot quicker for you. These are why you shouldn't worry about playing right off the bat, because these are things that will happen more often than not. I hope you enjoyed these few little bits of advice, and remember, it is only advice I can give you after I have seen more than a few MMO launches. This is Darkon, and I hope you enjoyed this preparing for an MMO launch. If you did like this, please like, favorite, subscribe, leave a comment below, tell others, and be sure to check out the other videos that I do have. So long, and farewell.